student. I believe you are staying safe in your different homes, and I believe that you are reading your book and not just sitting at home enjoying the holidays. Not just holiday. Any moment from now will be called to come and write our wife, and then we need to read so that we'll be able to do well in our exam. Taking you people on the topic heredity. In your different homes, you have heard my voice, Miss Adeniyi, biology as usual. I'll be taking you hereditary. I choose this topic because it's our last topic before our second mock, and this topic was rushed for us to undergo our second mock way. But I'm going to take it because most of white question in OBJ we have 10 to 12 OBJ question from this topic, and we always have a particular theory. We must have a question, a full theory question from this topic. So I decided to choose it for my revision class. Now, today we'll look into this topic, heredity. By the end of today's class, we'll be able to define genetics and heredity. We'll be able to say some terminology used in genetics, and you'll be able to explain how character are transmitted from generation to generation. Now, let's start from the first one, definitions of genetics and heredity. When we mention genetics, during our SS1 biology, we look into branches of biology. Then we mention zoology, botany, which are the major branches. Then we mention other branches like genetics, like microbiology. All these are other branches of biology. So genetics is one of the other branches of biology. And genetics is the biological science of heredity. That is the relationship between genetics and heredity. It is the biological science of heredity. Heredity is the transmissions of character or traits from the parent to the offspring. Transmissions of character or traits from the parent to the offspring. That is heredity. And this heredity ensures the continuity of character in living things. Let's have a look of this my teaching aid. You can see the pictures of a family. You can see the father, you can see the mother. If you look well, you can see there's a kind of trait that is common in both parents, common in the children. You can see that the first daughter look like the father, the second daughter look like mother. All this is what we call heredity. That is, character transmits from parent to the offspring. And this heredity ensures continuity of character in living things. You can see that some particular trait has been transferred from the father. That is why we are looking at the first daughter resemble the father, and we are looking at the second daughter resemble the mother. This thing transfer from the father to the first daughter, and then from the mother to the second daughter. Now, this heredity also is also account for the differences or variation among individuals in the population. When you see a particular children of the same family, you will find out that two of them may be tall, two may be short. They might not have the same height. You see some of them may not have the same color. Some of them may not have the same. All this as a result of the heredity. And I said the heredity brings about variation among individuals in the population. Now, let's now look at examples of this character, hereditary character. We have color of the eyes, we have skin, we have height. All these are hereditary character that we take from our parents. Intelligence is also among the character that pass on to us by our parents. Intelligence. You'll be wondering that so a particular set of students that are intelligent, while some they are not intelligent. All these are hereditary character. That one that is intelligent has received intelligence from the parents, and biologically we are told that intelligence is transferred from the mother. So if your mother is very intelligent, automatically as daughter, you receive this trait from your mother. Now, having known the hereditary character, we have many others. When you go through your textbook, you are going to see many hereditary character over there. Then, let's quickly look into the same two that say sometimes we use in genetics. In the course of this lesson, I'm going to mention so many times terminology, and I need to explain the meaning for you to be in line with the topic. The first thing there is chromosome. Chromosome, in our SS2, we have looked into the topic cell. And in cell, we mention cell. We have a typical cell has what we call a cell membrane. A cell. This is how cell look like. Just a sample. We have a cell membrane, which is the membrane that encloses the cell. We have nucleus inside the cell. Cell is having cytoplasm and nucleus. Now, inside the nucleus, we have chromosome. This thing that I put as my S is a chromosome. Is inside the nucleus. So, chromosome is found inside the nucleus, and this chromosome carry information, carry hereditary information, and it is this chromosome that genetic material is organized. The genetic material is organized inside the chromosome. The chromosome that carry information for making new animal and then new plant. They carry information for making new animal and new plant. This information is carried in the molecule called deoxyribonucleic acid. We are familiar with all this language in our SS2 and SS1. DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. It's a molecule that carries this genetic information. Now, that is that about chromosome. We quickly move into the second one, which is gene. Gene is a hereditary material. A unit of hereditary material located on a chromosome. Now, let me bring out chromosome inside the nucleus. This is nucleus. This is nucleus. Then this is chromosome inside the nucleus. Inside we have some gene found in the nucleus. They are found on the nucleus, attach themselves on the nucleus. This is gene. Gene is a unit of hereditary material found in the chromosome. They are found on the chromosome. This gene, the position where this gene is located is called the locus for singular, and then loci for plural. Now, if I just bring out my chromosome now inside this nucleus, this is gene on the chromosome. I've told you that gene is a unit of heredity. Now, the positions of this gene in the chromosome is what we call locus. If I refer to one, then if I refer to two, it's called loci. Now, that leads us to gamete. Gamete is the reproductive cell. A reproductive cell. In animal, we have it as ovum and sperm in animal. And this reproductive cell, which is gamete, when they fuse together, when sperm and ovum fuse together, they form what we call zygote, which develop into an individual. Then we have the alleles. The alleles are character such as tallness or dwarfness. Tallness or dwarfness, when we look at plants, or even greenness and yellowness of seed. So when we say allele, we are looking at a particular character. Alleles are character such as tallness and dwarfness, such as greenness and yellowness of seed. It can also be as brownness and then whiteness of seed. All these are allele. And allele appear in pairs. For example, if we represent the tallness as capital TT, this is alleles. This is also alleles. In the small t, they are all alleles. Remember that I said they are character. Alleles are character such as tallness and then dwarfness. Then we have homologous chromosome. So a gene is homologous chromosome, where loci, when we have a gene here and we have another one, the two loci, they have identical allele. As seen, for example, this capital TT is homologous chromosome. This small tt is also what? Homologous chromosome. When they have two identical allele, as we have in capital T, small t, they are all homologous chromosome. A gene is also heterozygote chromosome when we have different allele. For example, when we have capital T and a small t. This is an example of heterozygote. Capital T and the small t is an example of heterozygote chromosome. Then that leads us to dominant and recessive. Dominant and recessive. Those are the one of the terms we use in genetics. He said in dominant, he said that an allele is dominant if the alleles overshadow the other one. If the allele overshadow the other one, for example, in genetics, when we have capital T and capital T, we represent this capital T as tallness. Then when we have capital T plus small t, then it's still referred to tallness because the T here is dominant, overshadow the small t. We said that is dominant because it will express what? Tallness. If you see this particular plant of capital T and small t, you are going to look at the plant as tall. The plant is going to be tall. So what is expressing there is the capital T, and that is what we call dominant. The allele that is expressed in the genetic combination is what we call dominant. Then the one that is not expressed, the one that you did not see, like this small t that represents shortness now. In the offspring, we did not see any traces of shortness or dwarfness. We said that one is recessive. It's recessive. The one that is not seen, the one that the other one overshadow is called recessive. Then we move into crossbreeding. Crossbreeding or hybridization. Crossbreeding or hybridization is the mating of individuals from different breed. Crossbreeding, when you take individual from different breed, take the dog that is okay with another dog. Maybe you have a dog that is producing in any the dog will produce offspring like 14. I have a friend, my neighbor, his dog always give birth to 14, 12. You know that kind of dog, you can crossbreed it with one that you want, the one you have, and you want that one to produce offspring like that. So that is crossbreeding. When you mate individuals from different breeds to produce a variety that you want, you get a kind of combination that you want. That is crossbreeding or hybridization. Then we have phenotype. Phenotype is just an actual appearance of an organism. An actual appearance of an organism. When we look at an offspring, what you can see on this offspring is they are all light in complexion. So meanwhile, maybe the mother is dark and the father is light. You can see that you refer to all the offspring as they are all light. So that physical appearance, when you see the offspring, when you see the children, that's what we call phenotype. Then the genotype is just the genetic makeup of an organism inherited from both parents by the offspring. The genetic makeup of an organism, as we have it, we have we are all familiar with AS, SS, and then AA. All these are the genotype. You say some people they say if you are AS, so don't marry AS, because at the end of the day you are going to have a kind of combination that will give an offspring to have SS. So that is genotype, genetic makeup of an organism. Then we have the first filial generation. The first filial generation is when you crossbreed a pure breed. When you crossbreed a pure breed, the first generation you are going to get is what we call first filial generation. This F represents filial, I represents first. Then we have second filial generation, which means that after the first offspring, you allow the first offspring to self-cross. Then you are going to get your second generation, which is we refer to it as F2 generation. Then we have the pure line. When we crossbreed capital T, like when we are looking at tallness and the shortness, crossbreed capital T together with small letter T, we have pure line cross. Then we have the Punnett square. The Punnett square is just a device. It's a device we use in genetics, in which one of the parents are written along the top of a series of bars, and the other parents are written down the side. In Punnett square, will allow you not to make mistake when you are doing your crossing of the offspring. That is crossbreeding. Now, having understood the terms we use in genetics, we quickly look at the third one, which says character how character are transmitted from generation to generation. I believe in your home right there, you'll be eager. You want to know how you receive this character. Maybe you look like your mother, you look like your father. You'll be eager to know, how did I even receive? So that is the next thing we want to look at. We want to look at how character are transmitted from generation to generation. Now, character are determined by gene. You all agree with me, because I've mentioned the meaning of gene. Character are determined by genes, which are transmitted from the parent to the offspring. During meiosis, in our SS2, we also look into the topic reproduction. There we learn reproductive system that involve cell division, meiosis. During meiosis, we all know that gametes are 4, and they contain half of the mother. They also contain half number of chromosomes in a somatic cell. That is, we all know that in a diploid cell, a chromosome have a total number of 46, and then in a haploid cell, a chromosome have a number of 23. In haploid, 23 in diploid. So each individual is made up of 46 chromosomes. How do you get your own 46 chromosomes? Half gametes, half chromosome from your mother and half chromosome from your father. Two of them combined together, 23.23 will give you a diploid chromosome called 46. And then when the two chromosomes form together, become a zygote. It is this zygote that will not develop and then bring out individual. Is that taken? I believe you all know biology. We need to at least fast more in order for us to cover. We have a lot to do in this topic. So please just pay attention, and I believe if there's any way you do not understand, if there's any other place you have not understood me, please, you can call my attention, maybe when necessary, when the time, till there will be a kind of question class. Just put out your question. During that time, you let me do your question. So during sexual reproduction, I said that is the haploid gamete. What is the haploid gamete now? 23 from the parent, from mother, we fuse with the 23 from the father to form a kind of diploid zygote, which is 146 chromosome. So, which receive a total of 2 sets of chromosomes. Where are the 2 sets of chromosomes? One from the mother, one from the father. So, this means that there are 2 copies of a character. There are 2 copies of character. You are copying one from your mother, you are copying one from your father. So, therefore, character are passed from generation to generation via gamete. Character are passed from generation to generation via gamete. Now, we quickly look at monohybrid inheritance. Monohybrid inheritance. Having understood the types, everything we have, we quickly look at monohybrid inheritance. Now, before I move into monohybrid inheritance, let me quickly mention Gregor Mendel. Gregor Mendel is the father of genetics. We refer to him as the father of genetics because he was the first person to give a satisfactory information about genetics. And this man is an Austrian monk. He gave this satisfactory information in 1865. In 1865. Yes, in 1865. Now, we are going to look at monohybrid inheritance, which is inheritance involving only one pair of character, only one pair. Like when I was explaining that homozygote chromosome, I mentioned tallness and shortness. When we look at a particular character, is tallness and shortness. That is one character. That is homohybrid inheritance. We also have it when we look at either red or white flower. You can also look at this on plant, either what? Seed with yellow or green or round or wrinkle. Seed that have that. Now, let's quickly look at Mendel. This man, Gregor Mendel, I said he's a biologist and nursery mom. He was just walking out. He said, now why is it that in this garden, you notice that some of the plants, some are tall, some are dwarf. He said, what brought about this tall and dwarf? So the man, as a scientist, he picked the seed of the tall plant together with the seed of the small plant, and then pollinate their flower for them to fertilize. The man choose 2 meter high plant with 20 centimeter. We all know our ruler. Our ruler is 30 centimeters, so something like bigger than half of the ruler. That was what the man crossed with 2 meters of this height. 2 meters is 1.5 meter in height. So when you are looking at 2 meters, the plant is taller than myself. Then cross with 20 centimeter. 20 centimeter, you just use. We all know our ruler. Get there, right there in your house. Look at 20 centimeter, compare it with 2 meters. That was what the man used, Mendel. He crossbreed this plant together, and then in a pure breed, I've explained pure breed. When we crossbreed one particular thing, that is capital T together with small t, yeah, that is pure breed. Now, after that, he found out that in the first generation, the man found out that all the offspring, you can see now, this capital T represent tall, while this small t represent dwarf plant. I found out that in all the offspring, the first filial generation, all the offspring, they were carrying one gene that is capital T and small t, which implied that all the offspring in the first generation, they were all tall. They were all tall. But now, the small t, all of them have the small t and the capital T. I've explained dominant and recessive. That is to say that the capital T is dominant over the small t. That is why all the offspring, they were all tall in the first filial generation. Now, the man did not stop there. He went on to do a kind of self-fertilization. He carried the seed produced by these first offspring and then fertilized them together. It was there. He was able to cross them together. He was able to find out that the man was able to find out that in the first, remember that all the offspring in the first filial generation, they were all, this is the first filial generation. There's always be a kind of segregation where they will segregate to give, because they have the same alleles. So this one will give out one, this one will give out one. In case of heterozygous, it's not going to be so. Can't give out, because heterozygous must give out what they have. Now, crossbreeding. We are going to have, please, let's go back to the time of they segregate now. Now let's do the crossing. So that let me not talk. So now in the crossing, we find out that these are the offspring that is going to form. We have capital T together with small t there. The other one, we are having small capital T, we have capital T and small t. All these offspring, they are all what? They are all tall, and they are all heterozygous. Meaning that capital T is dominant over the small t. Then the man did not stop there. He went further to crossbreed the first filial generation, and this is what we refer to as first filial generation. This is the first generation after crossing. Now he picked 2 of these and then crossed them together. They would undergo a kind of segregation because they are not the same. 2 of them must give out. This one will also separate and give this capital T small t. Then let's do the crossing the same way we've done the other one. You can see that is this capital T will go 2 times to take this. This one will also go 2 times to take this. That is how to do the crossing. Now write out their combination. We have capital T, we have capital T and small t. Then we have what we call capital T and then small t. Then we have small t. Now in this one now, in the first filial generation, we are in phenotypic ratio. We look at the physical appearance. We said that all of them, they were all tall. So what will be the phenotypic ratio in the first filial generation? We are going to have a kind of ratio 4:0. because all of them are tall. Then let's now look at this one. You can see that in this second filial generation, you are seeing three different things here now. You are seeing three different kind of genotype. We can see one that they are pure capital T. Then you can see this one having one capital T, having small t. So this one and this one, they are together. We can see two of them. Then also see this one that have small t. That is another genotype. So phenotypically we are going to see three of these is going to be what? Tall. So that is why phenotypic ratio, we are going to have ratio 3 to ratio 1, because 1, 2, 3 offspring is going to be tall, and then only this one will be short or dwarf. So in genotypic ratio, we are going to have genotypic ratio of this offspring, second filial generation. We are going to have a kind of genotypic, that is genetic makeup. Genotypic, we are going to have ratio 1 to ratio 2 to ratio 1. Say that we have one pure breed, which is what? Capital dominant. Then we have heterozygote tall. Then we have the small homozygote tall. I believe that I'm going to end the class this way so that the class will not be bored for you. Right there right there in the house. Now, having like the monohybrid inheritor, which is looking into one character. We are seeing how character is transferred from generation to generation. We are also looking into some of the types. In the course of this topic, we are going to see a lot of terminology. We are also looking into the meaning of genetics and the heredity. So let me quickly give you our class work or assignment that you are going to find out for me in our next class. Thank you very much for listening to me over there, and the assignment will be sent to you through this medium. The assignment is only going to be on the monohybrid inheritance. Remain blessed. God bless you.